Sunset high and our bodies low. Blood rush in a hazy glow. My hands, the bones. Loose up, we break the scene. One step deep as you fall to me. Hot clap, we skip a beat. Count 1, 2, 3.
Hey y'all, what is up? It is Marissa Nicole and welcome back to my channel. If you missed it, my last video was me job searching for my first post-grad job because I just graduated from The Ohio State University and I have to find a job during Corona. It's not going the best. But what I didn't share before my job search is basically what I'm going to share in this video today, which is my budgeting process before I started job searching, because I have to make sure that I'm finding a job that will be able to help me pay everything that I need to pay for. And so I actually had to sit down and budget out all of my finances to basically come up with a projected income that I would need to sustain the life that I want to live, kind of thing. So that way when I went job searching, I was looking for jobs within that pay range. But also if you're not post-grad and you're just looking for a job period, or if you're just wanting to budget, this video is also going to be helpful for you because I'm just going to take you through my budgeting process. My previous videos are all about how I maintain my budget, or like how I save money with my budget, or how budgeting like helps me, but I've never walked you through the steps of actually creating my budget, which I'm going to do today with the help of my handy dandy Excel workbook sheet kind of thing, which I am going to be sharing with you guys if you want to use it for your own budgeting. I used to do this on paper for the longest time, but honestly doing it in Excel with all of the equations and everything makes it that much easier and simple, and I can obviously copy and paste this and do this, you know, every month or every quarter if I want to create quarterly budgets, yearly budgets, whatever it is. So if you guys want to check out the worksheet workbook that I'm working from so that way you guys can create your budget the same way, I will link it down below in the description box, so be sure to check that out. And before we dive into that, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below, turn on your post notifications, and give this video a big thumbs up. It helps me out tremendously. And also don't forget to follow me over on Instagram if you have not yet already. Now let's get into this. I'm gonna go step by step with you guys. We're gonna break it down, hopefully make this as easy as possible. Please along the way, if you have any questions, comment them down below. I respond to every comment on all of my videos, but especially this one. If you guys are confused at all throughout this process, let me know, DM me on Instagram, whatever it may be, and I can definitely help you because I want you guys to understand what I'm doing, because I hope that this would be helpful for you in creating a budget. Now first things first, to create a new budget, you kind of have to get an idea of what you're already working with budget-wise. Whether you have a budget or not, we need to look at how much money you're spending and how much money you're making to get a roundabout estimate of, you know, what are you usually working with on a month-to-month basis. Head on over to your bank's website and you're gonna want to pull up your statements for 4 months. And you can pick these statements for, you know, any month. If your spending has been a little rocky or income has been a little rocky because of Corona and COVID and everything, then of course maybe switch it up. Maybe pull up your October, November, December, and January statements. And you're gonna pull every single item, everything that you've spent money on, and you're gonna categorize it. So as you go through that statement and you see a purchase at Walmart and it's for groceries, go ahead and throw that into now a grocery column. And then if you see a purchase from Forever 21, there you go, now you have a shopping column. You're gonna go through each line item and you're gonna put it into a category. Once you've gone through your entire monthly statement for all of your spending, put everything into a category, go ahead and add up all of those categories so that way you can see exactly how much money you spent in each category that month. And now also for that month, you wanna go to the section of your statement that shows your income and add up your total income. Now this might fluctuate, of course, for each person depending on how many streams of income you have and if you can rely on each stream of income. For me, I only count my job paychecks because sometimes I make money maybe from Venmo cash outs, like someone's Venmoing me something, or of course in my situation, YouTube, I get paid from YouTube. However, I don't count that money because that's not guaranteed money that I can bank on every month to budget with. I think of it as extra money, bonus money that I can spend here and there or save. So typically you should only have maybe like 2 or 3 incomes in a month that you're going to add up in total for that month. So for all 4 of them, go through and pick out every line item that you've spent money on and put it into a category. Add up those categories so you get total amounts that you've spent that month for each one, and then total up how much money you've actually made each month. And once you have that blueprint, which I have here, I did it on paper, do it however you want, but it was easy for me just to write down exactly each item and just go through the list, and then I added up all of my categories. It can be very time consuming depending on how much money you actually spend. Mine honestly is not that bad because I of course already have a budget. I'm really smart with my money. I like to think that I am, but for some people they're gonna be quite long. Now you're gonna take those numbers, and this is when we move into my Excel sheet, my workbook that basically does all of the magic for you and makes it so much easier to keep track of, in my opinion. So I'm actually gonna share my screen with you guys so you can see exactly what I'm doing. All right, so this is the worksheet or the workbook that I'm gonna be working with today. I'm gonna explain it all to you guys guys. And right now I just have some sample categories and sample numbers in here for the examples that I'm going to be working with you guys with, so you guys understand how this works. So of course the months that I'm going to be working with are over here. I've blacked out this column only because it's not what I'm going to be working with, but on the worksheet that if you guys want to use, it will have a fourth column here for another month. I'm just not doing a fourth month for the sake of this video. These are the different categories that I put under changing costs, that, you know, these costs fluctuate every month, but my standard costs usually stay the same every month, like some bills, my payments for student loans, my rent, that stuff doesn't change. And of course, if you guys are working with this, you can add or delete columns, you can change all of this. Of course, this is just an example so you guys know what's going on here. Based off this orange cell right here that tells you guys only change the white cells. Anything that's colored is an equation, so you do not want to mess with that, or else it will mess up the whole book for you guys. This column here, the spending, these are actually the sums of all of these numbers. So you get your total spending for each month over here, and then you get your total spending for all 3 months. Your purple column here are your averages. So the average for all of your fast food purchases will show up below, your shopping purchases will show up below, and so on and so forth. So when you guys are taking all of those categories that you added up earlier, you're going to be putting them into the white cells for the different months based on your statements that you've been looking at. And I'm going to be filling out this last month with you guys so you understand how the workbook works. And so for fast food for me for March, I spent $65.95. In shopping, I spent $33.61. For transportation, I spent $40.69. And transportation for me as a college student includes Lyfts, Ubers, gas, whatever. So as you can see in February, I was really Ubering around, unfortunately, but that's kind of what I put in as in transportation. You guys can do whatever you'd like. For entertainment, I've spent $33. For my groceries, I spent $143.78. For my personal items, which is like toiletry items, shampoo, conditioner, stuff like that I usually get when I go grocery shopping, but that I don't count as groceries, that's when I count as my personal items, which is $14.44. As restaurants, I didn't spend anything because of Corona, and my animals would be $125 for food and stuff like that. All of these numbers are pretty much the same because these are standard costs. Now for me specifically, because again, I'm trying to make this budget post-grad and what I need to be making to, you know, sustain my lifestyle. So specifically for this budget, my rent and utilities, this is what I've estimated to be paying a month when I move out of my current apartment. So this is kind of what I need to be able to pay for with my new job that I'm looking for. And of course I am moving out with my boyfriend, Griffin. This is, you know, split. I would pay $600, Griffin would pay $600. And then as you can see, my spending column here automatically added up everything that I've spent that month. And now we have a total for the last 3 months of what I've spent. Now, if you guys are using this as a regular budget, the next thing you'd want to do is input these next white cells of how much income you've made. However, the way that I'm doing this is I'm kind of working backwards because I'm trying to figure out how much money I need to make in order to pay for everything that I want to pay for. So for me, I'm going to leave this blank, but please go ahead and feel free to include your, you know, you make $2,000 a month on salary in your income if you need to do that. You'll see that the cells below it will start to fill up with your total income and then your average income. But for me, I'm leaving these blank. And next we're going to be moving to this green area, which is where basically all the fun happens. This is where we're going to be playing with numbers. We're going to be switching stuff up to see what works for my budget, see what works for my income, and see what gets everything paid for. And I have a little bit of explanations down here for each little cell that kind of gets complicated just in case you guys need it. So this first cell here is basically your goal amount that you want to spend every month. This amount can be your average income amount, which is in cell Q9, or you can make your own spending amount. So we can use this amount right here. However, I don't have an amount here because I'm working backwards. But if you guys were doing this correctly, you'd have a number here, which you can just input here if you want to, or you can base it off something else. Now, the same thing kind of goes with each of these goal for each categories. You want to fill these category monthly spending goals, but make sure that your budget, which is in cell P13, which is right here, this budget, does not go into the negative based on your overall goal spending amount, which is in cell B13. So basically, as you start filling these with numbers, this number is going to change based on how much you've put here. So that way you can see, you know, out of your total goal here, how much do you have left to work with? Because let's say you have $1,000 in your goal, but you already put in $600 in your rent. So now you only have $400 to work with. How are you going to divvy up $400 in each of these categories. That's basically what this little area does for you. Now, the savings area here, this is your average savings based on your average income, which is in cell Q9 again, but for me is empty, minus your spending amount every month, which is all of these cells right here. One thing that I will tell you to do, your goal spending amount should never be exactly how much money you make. Then you're not actively creating a savings account. Let's say, like I did before, when I put in $2,000 for my income every month. Let's say I'm on salary and I guarantee make that. Now, of course, you see this number change based off of my average income, but if I make my goal $2,000 and I spend all of this money, just to make it easy, I'm literally just gonna put 1,000 and 1,000. We now see that my budget is, you know, empty. I have no more money to allocate, so all of these are now SOL, but then also I'm saving no money because I've used my entire goal budget by using my entire average budget. So that's kind of why I don't automatically make this a function cell to include your average budget, because sometimes you might not want to use your average budget. But of course, again, I'm working backwards. So I have no income to go off of, and I really have no goal to go off of. What I'm going to be doing is basically filling in these areas here so that I can see what I want to spend and basically how much money that takes for me to spend. And that way I can see, you know, how much is my goal and kind of work backwards to get my income, that by the end of this, I have to make sure that I make at least $1,500 a month, or else I can't pay for everything that I want to pay for. And again, you can base these off of your averages, but I'm not going to, because spending $73 on average for fast food every month is way too high for me. So we're gonna make new goals for myself. For fast food, I would like to spend only $50 a month. For shopping, I would also like to spend $50 a month. For transportation, I'm starting a big girl job, and so I will be spending more money on gas, but less money on like Ubers. My entertainment or like fun stuff that I want to do, I'm going to estimate $50. Per month on groceries, I'm going to spend $200. For my personal items, every month we're going to estimate about $25. For restaurants, I want to spend $50 a month. My cat usually costs me about $100 a month. And then again, these are estimates. So I am going to keep the $600 here. We need to stay below, you know, $200 in utilities every month. My car insurance is always $80 a month. My phone bill is always $60 a month. And my student loans that I have to pay every month are $182. Now, as you can see, that basically if I go off of this, I better be making around $1,600 every month to be able to sustain this kind of living. If I think that's too much, like there's no way that I'm gonna be able to find a job that pays me, you know, this much starting out of college, that's when I go into these things and I start messing with these numbers. So maybe I can't afford $50 in my entertainment every month. So we're gonna drop that down to $25. And maybe fast food, we need to drop down to $25 too, because I just really can't afford that right now. Shopping, I'm sorry shopping, you're getting dropped down to $40. I can't really mess with these items because those are standard, but these ones I can kind of switch around. And now I just need a job that pays me $1,400 a month. If we were going based off of my $2,000 income every month, my salary, that's guaranteed here, and I made my goal $1,500, like we mentioned before, I'm saving $568 every month guaranteed. I still have $68 to work with in this budget if I wanted to increase some stuff. There we go. My budget is zero. I've used my whole budget to fill these categories, and I'm still saving $500 a month guaranteed. I hope that made sense. I hope I explained it well enough for you guys. If you have any questions at all, please leave me a comment down below. DM me on Instagram, whatever it is. I will definitely get back to you guys and try to explain this as best as I can. And if you want to work off of the same worksheet or workbook that I'm working off of, I linked it down below in the description box. You guys can get it yourself, use it, edit it, whatever you want to do with it. I just want to give it to you to help you make this budget, because budgeting can be hard if you've never learned how to do it. It's all just kind of plugging and chugging for me, figuring out those numbers and then making those numbers happen. Now, I do want to make a follow-up video to this one, which is basically how I, you know, maintain this budget, or how I, you know, spend money in this budget, and how I make it work for me to save, you know, that guaranteed money every month, but then how do I also save more money every month? Because I also do that. So definitely subscribe down below if you're not yet already. Turn on your post notifications, that way you don't miss that video when it does come out. And don't forget to follow me over on Instagram, because I also want to share some stuff over there for you guys along the way through all of my, you know, post-grad life, but also with budgeting, financing, finding an apartment, all of these things that I'm now doing with my life. But I hope you guys found this video helpful. I love you guys so much, more than you'll ever know, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!
Won't you start the music, get into it, won't you dance with me? Find the place and lose it, you can do it, won't you dance with me? Move your feet and feel it in the space between. You gotta give yourself a moment, let your body be.